Friday, the federal government flagged another fake agency, with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu suspending 3 top officials identified as enablers and ordering the arrest of the frontrunner. This makes the 4th phony agency that the Independent Corrupt Practice and Other Related Offences Commission has uncovered in the just concluded 30-day investigation, which it submitted to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now, the new agency, National Brands of Development and Made in Nigerian Special Project Office, was uncovered by the ICPC barely 2 months after a similar case made headline. Now, the agency alleged operates under the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. The ICPC chairperson, Musa Liu, told journalists after meeting with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that the discovery came amid the ICPC investigation into the earlier case. Although the commission said the organization operated without presidential authorization, document exclusively obtained by US Dialogue shows that it presented itself to the state government as an official federal initiative operating from the OSGF. Among the documents bearing the signature of the presidency were a letter of appointment, approvals, and a series of correspondence to state governors seeking financial, land, and other forms of support. Now, aside from this, the agency has dedicated website and state coordinators across the country, including the Federal Capital Territory. Now, between January and February, it wrote to governors in Lagos, Imo, Ondo, Sokoto, Edo, and Nasarawa, seeking government support, state coordinators, funding of free land, and participation in programs in Nigeria and abroad. All the letters were signed by one Wambuze George, the promoter of the agency, whom President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has ordered to be arrested immediately. In the letters, Mr. George was identified as the executive director of the national coordinator Made in Nigerian project. Now, with these revelations and discovery, the question remains, how were they able to exist for so long without being detected? And how much deep-rooted corruption seemed to have been encouraged by top civil servants that ought to have known better? Well, this and more discovery of this fake agency will take center stage on our discussion today, and that is fake agencies and their collaborators in government. That's what we're having as a major discourse today on the show. We're looking at the discovery of 4 more phony agencies and how much collaboration they seem to have had from those that seem to have known better. And we're talking about top civil servants that we do know now that have been suspended in all how much deep-rooted corruption seems to be in the Nigerian civil service. Well, anyway, we'll be looking at that and serving it deliciously on the show today. And to help us talk about this, we have no other person but a political analyst of high repute, and one that is indeed really, really troubled by this latest discovery. And I'm talking of no other person but Mr. Austin Owusiva, JP. Good day and welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning, Michael. Thank you for having me.
Well, anyway, I doubt if Mr. Nwabeze, our judge, will be thanking the stars, because with the information we got now, especially making the round in major dailies, he seemed to be pleading, or rather saying that he took a court order for him not to be arrested in any way. But let's really understand this. 4 more fake agencies, when we were crying to the high heavens of the one we discovered with Adeyemi, now 4 others, adding to the toll, making it up to 5. Are you in any way surprised with these more discoveries, or are you, well, more like expecting it to be?
Mike, first and foremost, it's very embarrassing for us to be discovering this plethora of fake agencies bedeviling our government, particularly the one operating in the office of the SGF. The office of the SGF is the engine room of government, and when an agency can operate in that office, it is quite unfortunate that things like this are happening in our government. Now, the question we begin to ask are, who are the collaborators? Who are the enablers of these fake agencies? Who are the sponsors? Who are behind it? What are their intentions? Is it just to defraud government or to give Nigeria a bad image internationally? Because it doesn't tell well that fake agencies can operate successfully in our government. But like in everything, we must give kudos to the presidency for them to be bold enough to come out with the findings. They did not keep them under the carpet. The presidency was even courageous enough to order the arrest of one of the promoters.
Yeah.
But we urge that government should go deep. Let's do a forensic audit of all agencies operating in government. Let us know them, identify them.
Okay.
Because it doesn't tell well of us as a people that fake agencies can operate successfully in our government.
Well, anyway, talking about how they've operated and how that seems to be a problem, because we'll come to that, because it's still more of one that baffles a whole lot of Nigeria.
Yeah.
That an agency can operate without the pure knowledge of those in authority saddled with the responsibility of actually checkmating them.
Yeah.
Now, let's first look at how far they have gone. Now, with these new fake agencies, especially the one being controlled by George Nwambeze, it was learned that they even had a federal character spread around the country, which shows their audacity, which shows their being comfortable with what they're doing, having to write to different state governments seeking assistance on either land acquisition or other financial support. Now, my next question is the audacity of these persons in doing what they are doing, knowing that they have deep-rooted collaborators in government. But let's look at the audacity. Does this speak volume of how audacious some people can be when it comes to dubious dealings, especially in government?
Mike, crime unchecked tend to grow big and bigger. And without we putting punitive measures in place, you see, the criminals become emboldened to want to play the acts. You understand? But one of the things, like I said, we must give kudos to the presidency and to Mr. President himself. You see, now that some of the civil servants, particularly people at the rank of permanent secretaries, have been suspended, it will send a strong message to the civil service, because I have always been of the advocacy from times where, even from the House of Reps, when they come out with some investigations of money being looted, several investigations that have been carried out by the House and the Senate, particularly when it relates to corruption and all that. I have been on the question that who aided transfers of funds, looting of funds from one agency to another, or from agencies to private pockets. Mike, first and foremost, you need to understand the way the civil service operates.
Okay.
You see, the civil service is a strong government institution that supports the growth of government. And when they are not working with government, it can make the government to collapse. Hence, they go for training, retraining. You understand? We always try, the cry for what do you call it? Increase in salaries,
wages,
minimum wages, and all that. It's particularly to ensure that civil service are enhanced and they are properly taken care of. You understand? So, I have been, my advocacy has been, who are behind these processes? Understanding the civil service. Mike, before the presidency, or any ministry, MD or parastatal has to do anything, memos are raised.
Mhm.
You understand? Before a minister can even take any action, a memo is raised. It passed through a process from maybe a junior or senior staff to directors, from directors to a permanent secretary before it goes to the minister, and before the minister will send or take such a memo to ESCO for approval, to the presidency for approval. So these are processes. How come when we find mind-boggling kind of corruption, looting in government, we only face most times the politicians?
Yeah.
We don't go down to check how did this thing pass through. So now we're not looking towards the presidency, looking towards the civil service.
Okay.
PSCs have been suspended. Let's go to the root.
Okay.
Even to directors.
Okay.
How did it happen? Where it should not be limited to just the political actors alone.
Okay.
We should go to the service, find out what happened, and then those that are found culpable should be punished.
Okay. Now, still talking about, I will come back to the issue of how corrupt the civil service is. But one question that came out on account of this new revelation comes to different government institutions and parastatals.
Yeah.
The CBN came on board to say, oh, yes, we did this, but we're not of the know. They said, oh, we had credible information that this was a bit phony. But, so it shows the deep divide between our different government agencies when it comes to the issue of collaboration. Now, would you say that also enabled these corrupt persons to walk through the system without being detected? Lack of cooperation, lack of synergy of our different institutions.
I will disagree with you when you come off lack of synergy.
But look at the issues.
No, for an agency to operate successfully in the office of the SGF, it tells you how unprepared we are for governance. Because, Mike, every memo that goes to the presidency routed through the office of the SGF. A memo cannot pass from a minister to the presidency except in some special cases where it is carried by hand for a purpose of speedy expedition or whatever. But aside that, memos pass through the office of the FGF. So, if an agency can be operating over the years successfully in the office of the FGF, it tells you how prepared we are for governance. This is not about synergy between agencies.
Intergovernment
agency. Every memo passed through
the office of the Secretary
of the Government.
Of the Federation.
That is the engine of government. If an agency can operate undetected in that office, Mike, it tells a lot about
do you feel now, apart from the financial and the embarrassment we've gotten on this can also affect our security architecture, whereby we can have a phony agency not detected in government. Hence, we can also have a terrorist network brewing around our security architecture. Can that also be possible? Because this is the fear being expressed by many Nigerians on this discovery.
You see, we have had attack on the Nigerian Defense Academy in
major military formations
in Zaria.
Yes, yeah.
And we have had where generals have been killed. Let's not go into because if we have had breach of security in our country. We have had kidnappers operate freely. So, if you say there's no collusion, I would say no. There's a collusion between security agencies and criminal elements in Nigeria. So, if we say there is a breach, Mike, I will agree with you that there's a breach in our intelligence community. There's a breach because for an agency, we're not talking about just one. In this recent discovery, we are saying 4. And how many are there undetected? operating
Do you feel
successfully.
do you feel we might likely discover others?
Yes. The others will be discovered because you will say what is making them emboldened.
Yes.
You understand? Mike, you see, if somebody goes to steal, like I've once told you that stealing or going to steal is very easy. How to get home with your loot.
That's where the question lies.
That's where the question lies. And you see, we are humans, selfish as a people. You understand? It's very easy to steal when there are no checks and balances. But when there are checks and balances and the justice system seems to be effective, you understand? And punishment is given to those that are caught in the act. You understand? It will keep others in check. If you don't, you see, when there was a time, there was I think one time the petrol dollar something increased in the House of Rep. There was a scandal some time ago. I think that should be during either Jonathan or thereabout. You understand? Investigations were carried out. You understand? There was an allegation that Otedola gave one House of Rep member some money and
Mr. Integrity.
Mr. Integrity.
We could still remember him.
We will still remember those stories back then. Listen,
but he was jailed.
Apart from him being jailed, singled out, the bureaucracy, the process, how many of our civil servants were punished
on account of it?
On account of this discovery or such loots. Now, permanent secretaries have been asked to go on suspension. Let us do a proper investigation, forensic investigation, carry out audits, and know those that colluded with this group, with the promoters of such fake agencies.
Okay, now President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has directed, or given a go-ahead for the ICPC to arrest those persons that were fingered in these fake agencies. And also, like you said, suspended 3 serving PAM secretaries under the office of the Secretary of the Government of the Federation on account of this. But now let's come to a wider picture. Let's put the civil service on the spotlight now.
Okay.
I could still remember June 19, 2021, the Senate Committee on Public Accounts, Chairman Matthew Orede, he's from Edo State, came out to say civil servants are more corrupt than politicians. And he said it's time to be corrected. 2021, I could still remember that day. Now, he gave us a clear understanding that politicians, especially those in the House of Rep and that of the Red Chambers, they come and go. But the civil servants are always there.
They are career people.
They are career people. So when they come on board, they are the ones that show the others on how or what needs to be done to siphon, or rather, thief. They say we shouldn't call it thievery. Embed themselves in deep corruption as it concerns the looting of public funds. Now, let's look at this. Do you feel why there've been this great underdevelopment and corruption embedded in our system is that our civil service structure is so enmeshed in corruption, and there is every need for us to rejig, revitalize, redirect, and rededicate our civil service?
Mike, I've always been of the opinion that as Nigerians, we should first and foremost be loyal to our constitution.
Okay.
We should be loyal to the constitution. You understand? We should be able to be patriotic citizens. Somebody once said, how can one ask the question? How can one be patriotic to a government or to an institution that don't adequately care for them. Questions.
Yeah.
And this question goes to show our civil servants adequately taken care of? Are they properly paid? You understand? It cuts across to the police, to the army, to the all ministries and parastatals. Are they adequately taken care of? You know, because I'm trying to know why they are, most of them engage into corrupt practices. You understand? Mike, if a government staff is adequately taken care of, it will be patriotic to country, to Nigeria. Mike, we don't have good roads in our country. We don't have good health system in our country. You understand what I'm saying? Our justice system seems to be very slow. So all these questions put together now questions our patriotism as a citizen to Nigeria, or your loyalty to
the Constitution.
The Constitution.
Okay, now I'll plead with you. I'll need to cut you there. Okay, I'll allow you land, but I'll need to make some corrections on something.
Because of we have strong men,
but weak institutions.
Weak institutions. So loyalty tends to be channeled towards such persons
rather than the institution
and the Constitution, who are perceived to be strong men. Everybody sits and nobody asks questions why things are going wrong. So you can come up with it.
Now, Mike, my own is you made mention that our civil servants are underpaid, and I want us to really look at how well they are paid.
Yeah.
Now, if you allow me, I wish our PD will have this, but I'll just run through it myself. Now, when you come to different grades of level of civil servants, grade level 1 is being paid 70,000 naira a month. Grade level 2 is being paid 80,000 naira a month. Grade level 3 is paid 95,000 naira a month. Grade level 4, 110,000. Grade level 5, 125,000. Grade level 6, 135,000. Grade level 7, 145,000. Grade level 8, 235,000. Grade level 9, 245,000. Grade level 10, 250. Grade level 11, 270. Grade level 13, 315. Grade level 14, 325. Now, we can go on.
Yeah.
These are monies that are being paid every month to these persons. And there's every indications that it might really go up. But my question now is, don't you feel, irrespective whether these people were being paid 1 million naira a month, what they know as corruption will always be there? Because I will definitely say this, that many persons are even saying, yes, the federal government has increased the pay recently of our military forces and pushing forward for the police also to get similar pay increase. But some persons are saying, whether you pay the police or other security agencies well, those monies being collected on the roadside will always be collected. Yeah. So my question now is it all about the pay or the sincerity of heart, the push for pure accountability as it concerns our belief and our patriotism to the flag? So my question is, whether these persons are being paid millions, would the aid and the push of corruption still not be in them?
You see, corruption is a thing of the mind. Over time, it has bedeviled our system.
Yes.
I am strongly of the view that when our people are adequately compensated for job done, you know, like you mentioned when we were counting the levels, I was just laughing. Recently, I was having a conversation with somebody on band A.
Okay.
Recharging in just a small apartment, Mike. There is light, agreed, according to the citizen. But it spends up to 25,000 a month to recharge the prepaid meter. Take 25,000 for electricity out of somebody that is earning maybe even let's leave the
minimum
one.
Well,
let's even increase it to 300,000. 25,000 for electricity. We're not talking about gas. We're not talking about transportation. We're not talking about feeding. We're not talking about school fees.
So you feel corruption will make them?
So some of these things, the poor pay, the inability for us to maintain basic infrastructures, tend to put our people, they make some of them willing, even when they are not unwilling, because the extra money that comes, I'm not justifying it.
Yeah, no, I understand you.
You understand? These are some of the
reasons why
these things keep on repeating itself. And again, like I've always said, our justice system is slow, weak. You understand? The people who are supposed to adjudicate are not adequately taken care of also. So, if we found somebody culpable and after investigation is taken to court for persecution, we find most people bribe their way through the system or pay good lawyers to prolong matters in court. Mike,
yes,
this slows down the wheel of justice.
Okay.
And in turn, it affects our government and its institutions.
Okay.
Because Mr. A sees that somebody stole 100 million or 100, the bogus amount of money they quote on papers and all that. Mike, when there are no punitive measures, order will say, if Mr. A is free, could not be punished, let me attempt. You understand? If I get the money, I can buy my way through the judicial system. Through the justice system, which encompasses the police, the ICPC, the whatever. It's the justice system before it comes to the judiciary. Mike, this enable and embody, like your language, the promoters of such fake institutions and collaborators in the civil service.
Okay.
Because there is no punitive measures put in place.
Okay. Now, still talking about punitive measures. Well, in case you're joining us, indeed, it is Dialogue. And today we're looking at the recent revelation of having about 4 more phony agencies being discovered by the ICPC and are now being told by no other but President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for them to be indeed arrested. We're talking about the suspension of 3 PAM secretaries. Top civil servants in the office of the Secretary of the Government of the Federation are already on suspension and are now being investigated. But that's in all. We've now had 4 more fake agencies coming out, and many feel, just like our guest in the house, no other person but Mr. Austin Wuseba JP, saying that we might have more revelations in the coming months ahead. But the question still remains. How have these people been successful over the years? A recent revelation reaching us on Dialogue accounts that most of these agencies go back as much as 9 years ago. During the era of former President Muhammadu Buhari, most of these agencies have been in existence, and there's no surprise they are existing. Hence, the kudos given by no other but Mr. Austin Wuseba to this administration for taking the bold step and taking the bulls by the horn to deal with the issue of having to expose these phony agencies. But irrespective of that, we're looking at this critically and trying to see how we can make sense of all of them, knowing that a country that is having one of the largest number of multidimensional poor people is embedded and immersed in corruption, and some other fake agencies are just there siphoning the collective wealth of the people of this great nation. Well, anyway, that great discussion is what we're still having on this lovely edition of Dialogue, and we're trying to make sense out of all that seems to be really not making sense. Well, anyway, let's come to it now. Before we went on the break, you talked about the judiciary, but before we go to the judiciary, we need to have more investigations so we do not end up at the courts and having it been through in a way of lack of investigations or lack of evidence being presented. So far, the EFCC have convicted about 17,000 persons since their inception. 17,000 cases. And in all, we could still remember in 2024, we had 33 senior servants being convicted on account of corruption. Now, I want us to look at this because that is where the bottom lies. Do you feel our anti-graft agencies are doing more? Because people will say, oh, they are interested in internet fraudsters. That's what the EFCC are all around, or ICPC. They are all about political witch hunting rather than looking at those persons in government that are saddled with the responsibility of our collective wealth. Do you feel our anti-graft agencies are doing enough when it comes to investigating these issues, when it comes to prosecuting these issues, when it comes to actually taking the bull by the horn in dealing with our corrupt civil servants?
Mike, I will simply say our anti-graft agencies are actually not doing enough.
Okay.
They still need to do more. It's just recently, before the Osun state elections, governorship elections, you found out that the anti-graft agency, they ordered the freezing of some of the accounts of
the Osun State government.
The Osun State government. Question: why was that done?
So it's political witch hunt.
Witch hunt, because they were in the opposition. So, anti-graft agency that was supposed to be independent, that was supposed to be neutral, that was supposed to be unbiased, not acting on behalf of government. And needed the president to give directive for them to unfreeze the accounts of the Osun State government. It tends to show to you that the anti-graft agency are there to protect the government in power. And all the actors of the government agency is really there for Nigerians. You understand? Like I'm talking about patriotism, loyalty to constitution. They're not loyal to our constitution. They're not patriotic Nigerians.
Okay.
They're only loyal to those in power.
Okay.
So I don't have a current data of those that have been prosecuted and convicted. I don't have that data. I don't know how you come about that data, but if that is the correct, we still have to do more.
Okay, now let's look at something, because it's not only right that we tend to put the blame only on the anti-graft agencies. If you go to our Constitution 99 as amended, if you look at Section 88, Section 89, Section 128, and Section 129, gives the legislature the power for oversight as embedded in our Constitution 99 as amended. But do you feel there's a lack of oversight, especially from the legislative arm of government? Hence, these bodies or fake agencies have been striving. Because if you could still remember that the PFIC that was first indicted in all of these was given a yearly allocation of almost 2 billion naira. And many are saying, who allocated that in the budget? Were they ever called to give account of what they used? Maybe in doing that, when they had the legislative oversight, this fake agency would have been discovered. So my question now, yes, we've blamed the ICPC or the anti-graft agencies, but do you feel our legislative arm are doing their needed job as it concerns the Constitution in doing oversight?
Mike, to answer your question, I will put it in this way, in this frame. One of the major problems we have in Nigeria is recycling of politicians.
Recycling. Well, I know.
Yes, sir. Because most of them have one mindset. Most of our leaders, they have a mindset that let me come, take my own, and go. Let it be for. Then some of them will encourage their children to take over from them, which we have been seeing across the country. You understand? Our elections are so expensive, and it is difficult for independent candidates or opposition candidates to really contest. You understand? And we have weaponized poverty to such a level that, Mike, you see, I once read a book, The Late Stalin of Russia.
The imperial leader
Yeah,
during
he
the
will pick
Second World
an
War.
example. He will pick a fowl, cock, and begin to, while the fowl is alive, is unplugging, removing the feathers.
The feathers.
Once you are removing the feather, the fowl will have pains.
Yeah.
You understand? And that's how they inflict pains on Nigerians. And then, after inflicting pains, and you throw corn, the fowl will definitely want to eat the corn.
Because that's what you can find.
Because that's what you can find. So pains are inflicted on Nigerians. Students going for university, there are no jobs. So we hail those who loot from us. We see them as leaders,
Demigods.
You understand? So, from our universities, from our youth, they are now saying, if I get power, it's my turn to loot. So, when we talk about oversight, we talk about the legislature oversight to oversight government and all that. Mike, loyalty is also to the strong man that you are supposed to oversight. Do you understand? That the House of Assembly want to oversight a governor, and the governor is a strong man that gives to them. How can you?
But some of these agencies undermine their being controlled by the executive.
Yeah.
The power still lies with the legislature to do oversight.
Mike.
And that can bring check and balance, especially when it concerns issues like this.
Mike, in a system
that is working.
Say that the system that will say legislature is independent on paper, but not independent in practice. Judiciary is independent on paper and not independent in practice. Funds are still paid to the executive. Executive gives stipends to these institutions that were supposed to be oversighting them. Who are supposed to carry out oversight
as their constitutional mandate.
But we have the strong man in the president who oversees the executive. We have the strong man in the governors who oversees the executive at the state level. We have the strong man in the local government chairman who oversees his councillors.
So do you feel that's where the problem lies?
Basically, that's where our problem lies. That's how we cannot move forward. Because there's always the strong man.
But now, sorry, I will need to cut you here, because now the strong man in this case was the one that instituted the investigation of this.
Of the
these fake agencies.
Mike, you see, like I told you, I gave kudos to him.
You gave kudos for him taking the bull by the horn in
doing this. You see, one, I cannot speak for them, but to some extent, the presidency will also want to launder their image before the international community, before
the critics,
opposition parties and all that. They want to launder their image. They want to tell the world that they're doing what is right. They uncovered and they exposed
an agency in their own government.
Because even if you say Buhari government, it is the same system, continuation of a particular political party. You understand? So, Mike, you see, the issues boil down on weak institutions and strong men.
Okay, now just like you've laid down the narrative of weak institution, strong men, I'm now being tempted to ask you, how can we make strong institutions and less powerful men that override the constitution and the system itself? And because the reason I'm asking this, in the international and the global stage, Nigeria is ranked 142nd out of 182 most corrupt nation in the world. We scored only 26 points out of 100 points. 100 makes it cleaner, 0 makes it lower. We scored only 26 points out of 100 points in our recent 2026 Amnesty International Corruption Index, which gives us a bad taste and a sour taste in our mouth. So my question now we've laid the foundation, we've understood what the problem is. Do you feel, and or rather, how can we deal with the issue of strengthening our institutions and weakening the powers of these strong men that seem to have hold us at the jugular? What do we do?
We must first keep raising the conversation.
Okay.
Yes,
just like what we're doing now.
Yeah, what we're doing. We must keep raising the conversation.
As a starter.
As a starter. Civil society, NGOs, all manner of organizations feel that, it is good for us to strengthen our institutions to have a better tomorrow for our future. Mike, our children are our future. I think some time ago when I was in university year one, Mike, there was one professor, Zimiro, University of Port Harcourt, that came to the class. He said, I weep for your generation because loans have been taken ahead.
That we need to pay.
That we need to pay.
And we're still paying.
And we're still paying. So government of today, taking loans ahead, putting burden on generation yet unborn in Nigeria. You take a loan you want to use for road infrastructure. You're not using it. It's not spent on the road. The road are
impassable.
Poorly done, impassable. Within a span of 1 or 2 years, we cannot pass those roads again. And the money we're owing, and we're still going to do such roads. Who is at the loss? So, Mike, you see, we must raise the conversation. We must be firm in what we are doing. We must be committed to seeing that we have a better country.
Committed to see.
Committed to see. We must be committed. We must be deliberate about it. That we want a better country for us, for our children. You see, so when we have this in our conscience, when we have this as a government leader, that look, gentlemen, we need to make our country a better place. We don't have another home.
Do you feel, sorry for
talk about Nigeria.
Yeah, do you feel we need a strong man to come and do this? Do you feel a leader has to come out, a messiah has to be born to make us deal with the constitution, to make us deal with this issue of weak constitution, strong men? Or do you think we need to totally change the constitution itself?
You see, Messiah, Jesus will not come down again.
Well, no, we are going to meet him.
We are going to meet him. So Jesus is not coming down to earth again as a Messiah.
Yeah.
You see, we have to be deliberate about what we want. A country that we want.
But how can this come to be?
Mike, the East-West corridor is unpassable. Do you understand me? The East-West corridor. So the logistics to bring goods from Lagos to the southeast, to the south-south, is totally cut off. You understand what I'm saying? These are questions that begs for answers. Why? What is happening? Is it a deliberate calculated attempt to surcharge the people from the south-south and the southeast by the government of the day? And we are voting for them? What are our senators, our House of Rep members doing? I once had Senator Shomole raising a concern for these roads, Mike. You cannot go to Abuja now. So you want to travel to Abuja. It's extremely difficult. Going to Lagos from Delta State is extremely difficult. Bringing goods from these locations and
going to open Edo State.
Edo State, going to Benin.
So talk less of going.
That used to be 45 minutes. So, a whole of a day.
Let's just go within the Niger Delta first, please.
Our seaports are not functioning. That ought to, so that if the seaports are functioning, if goods are ferried to our client here, we can transport to other locations in the southeast and south-south. They are not functioning. And so these are questions that we need to ask ourselves. why can't we fix our own roads?
Now, if we ask ourselves this, how can we get it done? How can we change the narrative?
That's why we keep on raising the conversation. You understand? So, and you see, like I've been an advocate.
Yeah.
Mike, you see, the topic I've sent to one of my professors for my thesis, for my doctorate. Let us raise a question, Mike. Formulate policies. Like the Nigerian Bar Association, they're having
their conference in Port
Harcourt. What stops us not to have maybe a National Association of Psychologists, a National Association of Philosophers, a National Association of Political Scientists? That when we converge, let's discuss the Nigerian issue. Let's discuss the Nigerian question. Is this how we should remain? Or as political scientists, let's come out with thinking on how we can survive our system.
So are you saying an individual rebirth of our mindset as people should be the order of the day?
It should be the
way we need to go.
How do we change our curriculums? That our children from primary school should be taught on nation building, should be taught on patriotism, should be taught that no, we must not take bribe. Taking 10% is wrong. We must start to build a new future.
Do you feel the older ones in existence now cannot do it?
You see, it's
way beyond
part of our lifestyle, a circle that, you see, Mike, there are some government agencies. 10% unwritten is a shiny system that when you come, is a normal thing that you need to pay 10%.
Just like the normal 200 naira on our wage.
Or you need to pay certain money for you when you do your contract before you get paid. So it becomes a normal thing and nobody talks about it, nobody queries it. So when a contractor, first, before he gets his job, he pays a particular amount. After struggling to go to the bank and raise money to do the job, he pays it a particular amount to a civil servant who sits in the office. That civil servant, Mike, comes again, who was supposed to oversee, not just, we're not even talking about, let's leave the House of Rep and the Senate. Civil servant that will now say, this is what is on the bill.
And this is what we need to get.
This is what we need to. The man that was supposed to come and say, you are supposed to do a 6 meters or 10 meters, whatever, of road, thickness of your asphalt or whatever. And the message says that you put 2 meters. And because they are taking a kickback, it says nothing. It keeps on going on and on.
So a total value rebate is what we need.
Yes. So the NBA, they are in their conference now. It's not to play to the gallery. It's to raise questions.
Fundamental questions.
Fundamental questions. How effective are our laws
in dealing with this problem?
How is our judicial system working?
How can they curb this corruption?
How can they curb corruption? Lawyers that take on matters that they know. So this person, you know that this person is a corrupt person. And as a lawyer, you take a brief from such a person and defend. The NBA should issue punitive measures to such lawyers who are defending criminals that steal our commonwealth. You understand what I'm saying? So these are things we need to look at on a whole. Fine, every criminal needs, every accused needs a fair trial. But there are some that are glaring. Very glaring that this man have looted our commonwealth. And you as a lawyer, in your conscience, you have paid huge amount to defend such a character.
Okay, well,
from the bench to the bar, we should overhaul our system. The political scientists should come together across the board. Is this system working for us? These are questions that beg for answer, Mike.
Before we can get it right.
Before we can get it right.
Okay, well, anyway, the right thing for us to do is that, time is not a friend.
Yeah.
But the problem still does exist. And we're still talking about the issue of our fake agencies. And not just only fake agencies that have been discovered by the ICPC, but also the issue of collaborators, especially as it concerns top-level civil servants in government, and how that have in every way bedeviled the whole system itself, with a lot of billions and billions of naira being carted away by these phony agencies that have recently been discovered. But the question still does remain: how can we change the narrative? How can we have a different story, especially as it concerns our deep and much corruption that seems to be staring us in the face, with us being rated as the 142nd most corrupt nation after 182? And with us just ranking only 26 points out of 100 for being so corrupt. But the question still remains, how can we change the narrative? Should we go rechanging our set and rechanging our mindset, but having a totally new Nigeria, especially as concerns our young ones, being taught the values and the need for true patriotism? All of that is what we looked at, but whatever your views are, we'll truly appreciate. But the best thing to do now is to appreciate our guest. I'm talking to Whosoever.
Yes.
Well, he's just been so modest. He's a political scientist, and indeed, one that has really been troubled by this new style of governance, especially as it concerns corruption and fake agencies that are always there to siphon our funds. We truly appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And your in-depth analysis.
On your new studio.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
Because
Thank you so
the way you were raising barrage of questions, I could not.
Do that is what we do on Dialogue. We raise the questions. Undermining, you said we should also raise the question on value rebate from our different angles.
Yes.
We truly appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
We really are grateful for your insight and for just being frank. That it looks as if the war is lost. We need to rethink and re-strategize.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for that.
But
for us, I will always say it's never a conclusion when it comes to talking. Dialogue is all about us talking, and I'll tell you to continue that discussion. Let's get your comment, reactions, and indeed views on our different social media platforms. We truly appreciate them to come.